This is Tehachapi. Welcome. Sit back and relax as Key Budge and Corey Costello talk about things that are happening in and around Tehachapi. Now it's time for Key and Corey.
Welcome to another episode of Tehachapi. I'm Key Budge. Corey Costello joins me today. Corey, what's going on?
Oh, not much, man. We're just, rolling through a bunch of things. Small business loyalty program is off like wildfire right now. So, a lot of updates to give on that for sure.
You know what's funny as we get started, today we're going to get a chance. I'm going to have a conversation with Charisse Rudolph, a local Tehachapi artist that's featured this month over at Gallery and Gifts.
Yeah,
and I it's already recorded. I already talked to her.
Yeah,
but every time I mentioned where her art was, I mentioned Gallery and Gifts as TVAA.
Yeah.
And all I kept saying is that TVAA, and Gallery and Gifts is a Tehachapi Valley Arts Association property and business, but it is known as Gallery and Gifts.
And controlled by the artists. So the artists are the employees.
Right.
And so it's an opportunity for them to get their stuff in a retail setting, but then they basically volunteer their time to work a shift. It's a really interesting business concept. It's one of my favorite stores downtown because stuff changes all the time. And they have handcrafted stuff specific to Tehachapi, and it's great additions to decor and that kind of stuff. And I love the Tehachapi imagery. So anytime I can buy something to hang at home that's a cool Tehachapi photo or painting, I do it.
And then kicking off here in 2021 in the month of March, they are featuring an artist, and it's going to run through the rest of the year.
Awesome.
And this month, it's Charisse Rudolph, so I got a chance to talk to her, and we'll have that coming up in just a few minutes, so that's a nice conversation. She's got things that she's excited about, and she's also going to break the news on something big that's going on with her and her artwork.
That's awesome, and we're really getting... there's Tehachapi Valley Arts Association, and there's also the Arts Commission, which is a separate group that's through then they work together, but it's a separate group that's through the Greater Tehachapi Economic Development Council, and they're the ones that are putting on this Art 2021 event. It was supposed to be Art 2020, obvious reasons it didn't happen, but it's an in plein air painting event, and I've been working a lot with them to help them out with some website stuff, and we'll probably get them on the podcast at some point. But I'm amazed by that group we have in Tehachapi that's starting to really push arts and painting. But then they're going to be bringing in a lot of people from all over the country to come and paint the landscapes in the city. They're going to, because they have an urban category out in, the countrysides, and they're just going to stand out there and paint, and then they're going to go home and finish their paintings and come back and sell them for someone's going to go obviously to let the profit cover their expenses, but some's also going to go to some local charities and stuff like that. So super cool. And I'm really seeing the arts start to thrive in Tehachapi.
And it's always been here.
Yeah.
We've got talented people that live here that maybe have retired from whatever it is, their creative ventures.
Yeah.
And they call this home. And, for me, it flows right into our vineyards and the wine culture that we have here as well. So we're definitely evolving as we see our renewable resources, energy, work area, and we've got our ag, and this is just another blossoming portion of what Tehachapi offers.
Well, and it's part of the inspirational. It's hard to not be inspired by the natural beauty that surrounds us, right? And the way the sun hits the hills in the morning or the evening, or you've taken photos of and shared photos on our social media of these epic deep sunsets that we'll get when the clouds are just right, and so those kind of things are kind of getting folks thinking about being creative, and if they had a little bit of that background, this is a good spot to sort of nurture that. So it's being really now supported by groups like TVAA and the Arts Commission, and stores like Gallery and Gifts downtown where they can showcase it.
Yeah, and Gallery and Gifts is one of our small businesses, and that's we did some TV over there as the TV News wanted to come up and cover our small business loyalty program, and that was one of the locations that we chose. And it was really kind of an eye-opener because we start thinking about our local economy and small businesses and the diversity we have across the board and in all the different areas that we have representation of mom-and-pop shops.
Yeah, and they do a great job with Gallery and Gifts. Gil Caldwell with the Arts Association. She puts on, on normal years and hopefully returning here very soon. The artisan fairs that'll happen in Railroad Park a couple times throughout the year. They've been generous enough to actually, for a few years before we didn't have the event last year, but they had artisan vendors come out to the 4th of July on our festival in the park just to kind of add that local touch, and everything was obviously handmade or as a painting, that kind of stuff. It wasn't anything commercial. And so they do that on that's another avenue for the artist to, put some money in their pocket for the work that they do. And they're also part of the downtown utility box paintings, which we've had a couple of those. And hopefully as we get to the spring, hit a few more. But there's been, a couple of those painted. It makes a huge difference. And there's big plans for more of those in the future. So that's all through TVAA.
As I tease again that Charisse Rudolph is our guest today, and that'll be our main topic. But I know we want to talk about the Small Business Loyalty Program before we kind of jump into the interview with Charisse.
Yeah, man, it's been crazy. I mean, we had our initial, we went to city council and we gave them the report. We said, we'd like to, use $1,000 and maybe $2 to buy the gift cards to this program. And they're like, yeah, great idea, And we burned through the first couple of days of this program. We burned through a ton of gift cards already. And then we added the second 1,000 and we've got, those are in the book, but they're being claimed quickly. And so we're actually going to expand it a little bit more just to make sure that we purchase a gift card or gift certificate from every independently owned restaurant in the city. So I have 4 more left on my list to make sure I visit to grab gift cards or gift certificates from. And then every independent restaurant in the city will have had gift cards purchased from them. And at one point in this program, been involved. So that's super cool. Probably another $1,000 allotment, and you have the money budgeted, so we're good there. So I'm really excited about that, to add and expand that much. And the people have just eaten it up. I mean, it's been awesome.
We look at our goal was, spend $100 or more.
Yeah.
And then after the first week, what did we see?
The average was $171 on people coming in because, I've got 4 receipts. Here's my total. And it comes out to like $170. That was the average. Over $5,600 in week 1. Today as we record this, we're wrapping up week 2. So I'm excited. It's safe to say we're over 10,000 in sales receipts that were, that were generated and redeemed for this program. And again, the point is to get you back in. And I had a conversation this morning with, I was on a conference call with several city managers from Kern County. And I had 2 of them say, hey, we'd like to emulate that program. We'll give you credit. But I think we're going to do something like that in our city. And I said, absolutely. I'll send you all the details you need. And so it looks like it's going to potentially be spread to other communities in Kern County. And so I'm super excited about that because that's going to help everybody. And again, anytime you get to be that trendsetter, and I think we found a formula that works. And it's easy for cities to do it. It's easy for small businesses to be participants and benefactors.
When you see that return, when we talk about in 2 weeks, we're estimating this $10,000, but we feel pretty confident that we'll hit that.
Yeah.
That's $10,000 minimum in purchases in small business within our community. Mm-hmm. That's good for the mom and pops.
Yeah, and we've seen, and our folks up front that are handling this program have done a great job documenting what's coming in. Mm-hmm. So we've seen everything from, purchases at Gallery and Gifts or Sheridan's or lunch at Kelsey's combined with, I went and got some service from Oak Valley Appliance, or I went and got, nails done, or, I got a haircut. So we've seen the whole gamut of purchases being made for this program, which is awesome. I mean, every, independently owned business, retail, personal services, restaurants, they're all kind of being touched with this. So it's pretty cool.
And then to go along with that, what we don't know, the intangible factor, if you will, is that we're sending them back into the small businesses with the gift cards. So, and we won't know exactly how much money people go back in and spend using that gift card as a motivator to go back to small business. But that's even more money that goes back in beyond that initial $10,000 in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We see $2,000 more in gift cards going in. And we anticipate that people are going to purchase beyond that because that's what we see statistically.
That's what happens statistically. And then just honestly, you look at just a real example. Yesterday I went and got some gift cards from Jake's Steakhouse, right? Pretty, nice restaurant. Obviously $20 is just kind of getting you in the door, but you're going to use that as part of, you're going to apply it towards your dinner bill and you're going to spend, probably a lot more than that there. And so that's the beauty of it, is it's going to allow, just kind of get you in the door, get you thinking about that restaurant and maybe trying something new, or it's a favorite you haven't been to in a while. And you're going to use it because for you, it's free money. So if you go and spend $20, you have a $40 tab, you went and spend $20, you got $20 basically for free. That's $40 of the business and only $20 out of your pocket. So that was the premise, and we're starting to see that work.
you've got some feedback from some of the business owners too.
Yeah, it's been, benefit for me is honestly, I'll be the first to admit, I don't get out enough to go into these businesses. We talk a lot about business visitation, and I try to make that happen as part of my sort of regular day-to-day, but things come up. I mean, and we're a small city, and there's a lot of responsibilities outside of just the economic development piece. And so going into these restaurants to buy these gift cards, I've met some business owners I never met before. And, speaking to May, who owns Blue Ginger Pho, and she's been here 16 years, and this pandemic has hurt her business a little bit, but she's getting through it. And we've talked about another piece of federal aid that I'm going to help her apply for. And then, going over to Tea Donuts, Shantha Saknile, who took over that business a couple years back, bought it in 2019. And then, her too. It's the pandemic because of the commuting patterns change. Donuts are that commuter food, right? Or I'm going to take a bunch of donuts to the office. Well, most people don't allow that right now. Sharing food and community rooms, that kind of stuff. And so sales are down a little bit. And so just trying to hear their stories and how they're getting through it, has sparked other interest in us to talk to these people and get them on the show. But it's been great to hear their stories and how they're adapting, and then just to get to know their actual story. Because I mean, I like to know where people's backstory, because it's motivating. And some of the folks we have, whether it's a female business owner, a minority business owner, they're like the case of Tea Donuts came from Cambodia, and they must work 24 hours a day. They got 2 donut shops, one in Tehachapi, one in Bakersfield, and that's family operated, the whole thing, and they're here at 3:00 in the morning to make donuts, Yeah. It's insane. So yeah, the stories are awesome that are coming out of this. And I think the relationships are even going to be more valuable in this program, and talked to Mill Street Kitchen the other day, and their business has shifted because of the pandemic. And what they're doing now is totally changed from being a catering company pretty much and a pie company to being we're not going to do catering as much anymore. And we're going to sell that piece of the business. We're focused on to-go meals, fresh every day, or frozen stuff you can take home, put in your freezer, and then, freeze and then cook a chicken pot pie that we made ahead of time. And then of course the pie piece of thing too. So they've shifted their business model as well. It forced them to make a change, and it's working.
It's the small business loyalty program. We're seeing successes. We'd love to hear stories. If you guys hear it and you know of a story regarding this, we'd love to hear it.
My favorite stories are the people that go to check out and they're coming to City Hall. They're like, yeah, I really didn't hear much about this program, but I went to Canine Creek and they told me to come down here with my receipt and get a gift card. So a lot of that's happening too, which is awesome. I know there was one person that I think was at Unique Finds, and they'd spent $80, and the person at the register said, ma'am, if you spend another $20, you can take this receipt to City Hall and they'll give you a gift card. So they went and spent another $20 to get the bill at $100, and then came down here and basically got their $20 back. So it was really cool.
And that's what this was all about.
Yeah,
was trying to get people to shop local, and then to think about, I'm helping my neighbor, and then we're rewarding them for that, sending them back in to try something else at a different location.
Yeah.
Well, tell you what, I want to continue the conversation on the Small Business Loyalty Program, but I don't want to keep Charisse Rudolph's interview waiting any longer. So let's shift gears. We'll go over to Gallery and Gifts, where Charisse Rudolph is the featured artist, and let's hear what inspires her. Well, here on Tehachapi today, we've got a special guest. This is a Tehachapi artist, Charisse Rudolph. Charisse, welcome to Tehachapi.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
In March, we've been focused on small businesses here in the city and how we can help the mom and pop shops and help them grow. And one is TVAA, our Tehachapi Valley Arts Association. We were over there and we've been talking with the crew that runs the business. And in doing so, here in March, you are the featured artist. So
Yay!
That's pretty exciting. Well, I got a chance to go back into TVAA just a few days ago, and the upper room is dedicated to your art. You are on display throughout that upper region of TVAA, and it is beautiful, very bright, vibrant colors that you use.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's nice to be there. I lived here for 8 years, and we moved away, and now we've been back a year, and it's nice to be back home where I can, see my friends, and my tribe is here, and I'm really happy that it's all going so well.
Well, let's talk about your art. What inspires you? we're going to have to give a visual description to our listener. We'll take one of your pieces of art and we'll make it the photo for the episode. But what gets into you to get the creative juices flowing?
Well, I've been coaching since 1992. I did adventure ropes courses and team building programs, and I worked with a number of big agencies like Disney and 20th Century Fox, and the list goes on. And so I learned from an early time in my career how to focus on what was going on with a person in the way that they were dealing with the other people on their team, as well as the different tasks that they were trying to do. And then in 2000, I thought I was inventing team building with horses. And then I found out there was another company that had started it. I went and took their trainings, and I won the Leadership Award for Contribution to Women in, I think it was 2001. And so from that, and then here in Tehachapi, I opened Healing Horses and Armed Forces, which was a nonprofit that worked with veterans. And I worked with Edwards Air Force Base and Fort Irwin. And we used to have, groups of women from Fort Irwin. And then we also had, people coming in, servicemen from, and servicewomen from Edwards. When you're working with the horses and people, unlike the ropes course, what's really special is that the horses are responding back to the people. It's like two living things responding. And that heart connection is what I've learned to just appreciate. I give gratitude to. It's just a special part of us relating to animals, and animals relate to animals that way, and people, of course, relate to people that way. But it's that connection, not just a pretty picture of a horse, but rather that connection, that heartfelt connection. And, when I changed my medium in 2018, and I started doing this like right after my father passed. First I was experimenting with the colors and just trying to be vibrant. And then as I progressed, if you looked at my work, you'll see more and more, and now almost exclusively, like the last 3 paintings over here, I'm pointing to them, that I just did this last couple months. They all have to do with that heart connection. So that's what drives me. It drives that one special thing, like when you're seeing something and you're seeing that love. So that's what drives me to just do more and more. So it's speaking, it's relating, and then with color, people end up kind of looking twice at it, and they kind of see a world in a different way. And the feedback I've gotten since I changed my medium a few years ago is just like tremendous. I'm excited.
The colors are amazing. They draw your eye. They turn, if you walk into the room, like when I went into TVAA, the colors made me turn my head to look to see what it was. And then the artwork that you've done, you've been able to get very detailed with the expressions, with the animals, with the horses. And that is another part that I caught on to. It was like, wow, that is incredibly expressive.
Thank you. Yeah, well, part of my style, I've been an artist my whole life. I call myself a closet artist because just like so many artists, my father didn't think that was something I should be doing because I couldn't support myself. And, he had the impression that only if you're a dead artist, you would make money. And so I still, because it comes out of me, I still would create, but I would create very natural, how can it look as good as it really looks, And then what I found was by just letting myself go and finding the alcohol ink on the Yupo paper, which you can't really control it, I decided, okay, everything I see on YouTube that has to do with this medium has to do with flowers and flowing and really beautiful colors and stuff. I want to see how I can control as much as I can, but also learn lessons we start to learn. Is that sometimes you just have to go with the flow. You have a path, but you go with the flow. So with my art, getting back to your question, is that I make sure that the detail in the expression and the eyes is true to life, but then I create it in a way that makes you really look again. So the colors bring you in, but then you look at the emotion.
Yeah, the emotion definitely comes across.
Like,
Charisse, when we go in and we look at your exhibit at Gallery and Gifts, the expressions like you mentioned, the vibrant colors, but the detail that you have to the animals. In some of them, it's two horses that are connecting, but then you have, the horses connecting with people. Like off your shoulder, there's the little boy that's there that the horse is reaching down to. I mean, you're able to pull feeling and put it onto your paintings.
yeah, and I think that's sometimes where artists miss their mark, is that, like, before even I can paint, I can show you, if you come to the house, I can show you my paintings of the past, and I can show you some beautiful horses, and I can show you, but it lacks the feeling. It's just me trying to do something that looks good rather than to admit a feeling.
Let's talk about what's coming up here at TVAA, because you are the featured artist this month for the Tehachapi Valley Artists Association, and you're at Gallery and Gifts right on the corner of Tehachapi Boulevard and Green Street, and you are going to be making an appearance so people can actually come and meet you and get to know the artist behind some of these incredible paintings.
Yeah, I'm happy that would be happening.
And that's going to be on Sunday, March 20th from 12 to 3 p.m.
Correct.
We want to invite anyone that has questions or just wants to understand
All right. Come
anything.
pick my brain.
That's it. So you're available to have that time with people. And let me tell you, I looked at the TVAA Facebook page and in the promotion of your gallery. And there's two comments that I saw that really popped out to me. And one was Susie McCarthy. And she said on the Facebook page, "I love the display. So colorful and happy. I can't wait to see it in person." And that's just from looking at the images on social media. So she hadn't even seen it in person. And the photos are great, but it doesn't do any justice to actually being there live.
I got to tell you, though, the comments like that, it just gives me tingles. It just makes me so happy when people are feeling a great emotion, or feeling something from what I'm doing.
Well,
it's kind of like my work with the veterans has extended into my art.
That's incredible. I mean, and I know working with people with PTSD, in our military, it's something that they come back to and you're able to connect. And there's something about the magic of animals, but horses in particular, that are able to connect with people, and they read the energy that person has. And if it's a depression or something, it's amazing to see, owning a horse and seeing that connection take place. And they can have different energy with different people.
That's right. They really are mirrors of what is going on with us. Like, if you're in a bad mood, like back in the day when I was younger, I taught people how to ride, and I took the kids to shows, and I trained some horses and did stuff like that. And I'll tell you, if you're not in a good place, don't go riding. You don't want to go work with your horse, even if you don't ride, because the horse just mirrors what's going on with you. So I don't know, it just goes right through your body to the horse, and it's emotion, it's heart connection, and that's what life is all about.
It is. And let me share another comment that I saw on the Facebook page at TVAA, and tell me what your reaction is to this. Gail Caldwell, she said, "Walking into this exhibit is a total mood changer. So bright and happy."
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Gail. That's nice. When I've done some different shows, and people say these paintings just make me happy. It's just like, I just go like, oh, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. In a sense, I'm still coaching. In a sense, I'm still being able to help people get to a different place. I'm a heart math coach and trainer as well, which is another organization. That's about heart connection as well. And so it's like, I didn't realize when I started painting and I was freed up, I freed myself up after my dad passed to just go for it. The art just pours out of me now. But I didn't realize that more and more of my stuff would be more about everything I've done. It's like my whole life is evolved, and everything I've experienced and learned now is coming out into what I create, and people are feeling it. So what more could I ask for?
Not only being featured here in Tehachapi as a local artist, but now you've got something that you can also announce. You've got some big news that just came out. So let's share that with our listeners.
I got the letter today. I have been accepted to the LA County Modern Art and Contemporary Art Show, which is like it's like the hugest thing possible. I'm so excited. I'm pinching myself. I just can't believe it. I didn't realize that only galleries can go to that. And the letters, the letter says, I don't have a copy of the letter with me. It says like the most prestigious from around the world gallery. It's just like, I'm going like, holy cow, I can't believe this. And I didn't realize that. So I submitted my work and I actually got a call from them. They said, we really like your work. And if you can get a gallery to represent you, you're in. And I was like, oh. So I've been taking an art business class, which the art side, the business side is just as important as the creative side in art,
Sure.
if you want to make money. And I've been taking one with Xanadu Gallery, which is out of Arizona. Every Wednesday and Friday, we have like a class, and then he talks about different topics that people write in about. And I've been doing that for probably 2 years, and I've been in their catalog twice. And so when I said, I'm not represented by him, like you don't walk into his gallery and see my pictures. And what I found out, which I didn't even realize, is that by being in the catalogs, I'm already on his webpage. And so I said, hey, Jason, this has come up. I didn't realize that I needed to be a gallery. This is like taking 100 steps forward all at once. I said, would you represent me for 1 night and 3 days? I think it's Thursday night, the 28th is the opening program, or not program, but the opening event begins. And
which
it's
month?
Usually dress up and nice. And then it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Which
he
month?
Said yes. It's in the end of July, the 1st of August.
Excellent.
So I just got this information like yesterday, and today the acceptance letter, and I'm walking on cloud 9, man. I'm just like, wow.
Have they announced what facility it's going to be at? Where
Oh, yeah.
in LA?
It's at the convention center. It's at the LA Convention Center. I've been twice. My girlfriend and I went on 2018. It was fun because you could catch the train in Santa Monica and take it all the way to LA. It's like, if you've never been there before, have you been there before?
Oh, yes.
It is like, the art show is like so unbelievable. There are artists from Japan and Europe and just everywhere you can imagine. And there's just things that just stop you in your track and you just go like, mouth open. So just the fact that I'm going to be there, I'm just like, whoo.
Well, congratulations on that. That's exciting. Yeah. I'm glad you were able to announce that here. And
thank you.
The opportunity for us as locals here in Tehachapi to go see your artwork before it's displayed to the world in LA, we can send you down to the TVAA, the Tehachapi Valley Arts Association, which is Gallery and Gifts.
Yep. Right.
Green Street, Tehachapi Boulevard. You're going to be there on Sunday, March 20th from 12 to 3. People can come down and meet you. And like you said, they can pick your brain. But if you can't make it down that day, Gallery and Gifts is open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So your artwork is on display in the upper level of the shop. So people can
go. And I also did some cards.
Yeah, you've got some cards, and people can purchase a print if they like the artwork. So you've got a whole variety of things that are available that are on display for people to see and actually purchase. So congratulations on not only TVAA, but the LA Art Show is huge.
Right. And like you said, if you go onto my website and there's a picture that you like, and you can get a print or you can get a mug, or, we have some merchandise and we're working on more stuff. So,
Great.
We're up and running and it's exciting. It's an exciting time.
Great. And that's rudolphfineart.com. So definitely take a look at that and you'll get a preview. Check out the Facebook page over there at TVAA. And there's a few photo galleries, and then go in because the colors are eye-catching. I mean, I caught it from when I walked in the door and I looked through the hallway to the upper level, and I was just kind of turned ahead. It's like, okay, I was kind of drawn. I'm going to go take a look at everything else that was on display that's in your area. And there's definitely a connection that you have that you're able to relate with the horses and put it into your artwork, and that it translates to us. Right.
And I did a whole COVID series. It's not up there. This pandemic has been kind of crazy. This is the first time that Gallery and Gifts has had a guest artist this year. The first Friday hasn't been happening for the year,
right.
But hopefully this pandemic will be over with soon, and they'll be back to normal, and we'll be able to all go there and enjoy some nice little glass of wine and a little snack and see different artists in our Tehachapi area.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Very welcomed, I think, for everyone in the public. They're looking forward to enjoying those days again, and I think we'll appreciate it when we're able to. But at least until then, swing by TVAA Gallery and Gifts and take a look at Sharice's collection. It's so hard to describe because it's, like I said, it's full of emotion, bright colors, vibrant, and then as the comments that I shared with you, it was mood changing for them. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
We want to also remind everyone, check out Sharice's work, her website again, rudolphfineart.com. And Sharice, thanks for joining us here on Tehachapi.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, Corey, Sharice is the featured artist here this month at Gallery and Gifts. And the fact that she's added to the LA Art Show, it's like first she's here representing Tehachapi, and now she's getting exposed at a huge venue this summer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that kind of goes to that conversation we had earlier. I mean, just about the talent we have here and how not only are we importing some of that talent, but also their talents are being recognized elsewhere. So it's very cool. And her work is, and I've seen the display, the exhibit, and great work. And the lights, the colors, all that stuff is really cool. I mean, I tell the Arts Commission all the time when I work with them, like, look, I'm not an expert, like my interpretation of fine art is Bob Ross, painting happy trees, but I can appreciate something. You're like, wow, that's amazing.
Well, the nice thing is in where she's featured in that upper level of the gallery, that you walk by other artists' work to get to where she's her featured section, and then scattered throughout her section is other artists' work. There's some sculptures and different pieces that complement it, and you get exposed to other local artists that are all, right here in Tehachapi, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the cool part is even that Art 2021 event coming late spring and then into the summer with the exhibit and sale. There are some local artists that are mixed in there too, not just people coming in from outside the country. There's some local folks that are going to, take their shot and get a chance to be showcased too, which is cool. So it kind of adds that tourism piece and getting people in here, but it also benefits the local artists as well.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Small businesses, we were talking about it earlier as we opened the show, and obviously Gallery and Gifts is a small business, but you and I had a conversation about what's inspired out of this small business loyalty program.
Yeah.
And it gets down to the ownership of some of these businesses and their backstories. And like you said, you're going in and meeting some of them for the first time because they're so busy they can't make it to our Economic Development Council meetings, but you're getting a chance to put names and faces together, learn a little bit about their backstories. And one of the things I took away with having the conversation is how many women own businesses here in Tehachapi.
Yeah. Yeah. And if we think about it, like the folks that we deal with and just especially, March being, Women's History Month. And we have a lot of successful small business owners that are females here, and they have great stories, and they have. I mean, this goes across the board, not just for the female business owners, but just the grit and determination we've seen out of small business owners. I mean, there's a fight in them right now to continue to survive and do what they can to keep rolling, and it's really inspiring. And then I think if you add in that sort of female-owned piece and having them try to juggle, owning, running a family and owning a business or owning multiple businesses in a lot of cases, it's super impressive. And so I'm really looking forward to sharing their stories as business owners and, as female business owners and as part of, Women's History Month. It'd be really cool.
I think so. And folks, if you've got a story or you've, as we always ask you, send us that email.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a business owner's got a cool backstory that might inspire people. We'd love to hear it. Yeah. Send us that email, media@tehachapicityhall.com, and we'd love to get it. Corey, I'm going to tell you, so I listen to the podcast. So obviously I edit it, I put it together. So if there's something wrong with it, you can blame me. But I start to listen to things. So you pick up on tendencies that you have. Yeah. So one of my tendencies so far in 2021 is it's been a busy year. We're off to, and that seems like how I was starting every show. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how busy we are.
It's what we call a vocal crutch. Yeah. In the radio business, it's a vocal crutch.
And so I'm thinking, okay, well, it's been an eventful year so far, but I cannot remember a year that has taken off like this. I know we're still got the pandemic stuff going on,
Yeah.
But maybe we're searching for things to help the community, whatever it is. I can't remember a cold January, February that's been so active for us here at city government.
Yeah, I think part of that is the people that are looking forward to the recovery. And I think part of what we did from the very beginning, it was sort of psychological from the very outset of COVID last March, a year ago. I mean, today, basically, as we record this podcast, was the beginning of 14 days to slow the spread in the executive order and the stay at home and all that stuff in the state of California. So when all of a sudden, is what I like to say, the meteor hit, we immediately focused on recovery. I mean, that was always anything online, even in April of last year, said COVID-19 recovery guide. It wasn't a reaction guide. It wasn't it was a recovery guide. Putting recovery, our economic development emails went out that said focusing on the recovery, COVID-19, even when we were in the midst of it. And I think that's what's happened with people is they are focusing on the recovery and they know they have to continue to invest and build their businesses or build homes or whatever they want to do. And so that's what's made things really active in 2021 has been the lights at the end of the tunnel. And they need to get their ducks in a row and their chess pieces lined up to make the most out of this year, what's remaining of it. And then obviously the next years and the years beyond.
Yeah, I know we look here at California and they start making the announcements about 10% capacity and 20% capacity. And then you look in Texas and they made the announcement, that the Texas Rangers opening day on April 1st will be full capacity.
If the Texas Rangers sell at a ball game, I'll be shocked, but that's a different story.
They might sell it out just because of the pandemic and people are pandemic crazy.
Yeah, and they have a brand new ballpark that no one's really been in except the World Series last year that did some temporary, some minor capacity for that. But most of the Rangers fans have got a chance to really be in their new ballpark.
I'm looking forward with government looking to say, hey, we're going to open the doors and we're going to pull back the rules, the restrictions as we get more people vaccinated. The rate of the spread has been slowed down. So these are all factors. But I look for our summer. And I know we even talk about our summer, and it obviously depends on what the health department comes down with, the governor. But I mean, we're looking ahead to make sure that we're able to let our community enjoy their summer.
Yeah. And there's certain things that, we're working on, we can do. Obviously, we've talked farmers market. We're trying to get that a little more open than it was last year because last year we had a stay-at-home order. And so there was this kind of whole essential element to farmers market that was required, a farming piece of your operation in order to be there. I think now because things like swap meets are allowed, outdoor markets, that we can possibly open that up to a few other vendors that aren't farm folks directly. We've had, as I mentioned, TVAA interest in their artisan festivals, and we're trying to work through that in terms of regulations to make sure that it is allowed kind of in that swap meet outdoor market category with a few modifications. And then, we're looking at what does that mean for our summer 4th of July festival will we be able to do something modify? We've already talked about fireworks. That's going to happen. We have a contract for that already in place. It really will happen this year. We promise we won't pull no stunts this year, stunt free.
But we had to do that. We didn't have a choice. We had to do that, and we still pulled it off.
Yeah. I think we'll be pretty straightforward this year. But will there be a All American 4th of July festival? We don't know yet. And so will it look different potentially if we can do something? But I think there's plenty of events out there and modifications that can be made to make this summer a little closer to normal and the spring even as well. So that's what we're looking forward to, and that's that kind of pre-planning that everybody's doing right now, in the city and people coming through the door as well.
Hey, is anything else we need to bring up before we close out the show?
No, I'm just really excited about everybody's reaction to the Small Business Loyalty Program, and I'm super happy that it's allowed us to go out and work with our small business owners even more and make relationships. And, that's what it's all about. And that's what makes us a little bit different. So I'm excited with the result. It's had both tangible for the business owners and then just me personally to be able to connect with some folks that I didn't connect with before.
Yeah. There are a lot of positives that we're able to pull away, and that is one of them.
Yeah.
So and we appreciate everyone participating. We don't care where you live. Yeah. If you're spending money here or utilizing services from a business that's based here in the city of Tehachapi and it's mom and pop owned,
Yeah.
you can benefit as long as supplies last.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
We're trying to get as close to the end of the month as possible. I mean, I probably won't make it, but I think we can get into that third week of March, so I think or fourth week of March maybe. So we'll be good there. But yeah, and we're excited to share the stories of the small business owners. We'll have a few in. It looks like we'll get Shanta Saknile from Tea Donuts on here next week. And a great story just in general of that family's journey to the United States and journey to business ownership and where they're at now, kind of a small donut empire and family operated from the ground up. And looking forward to sharing that.
Yeah, all coming up on future episodes of Tehachapod. We appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. And send us the comments, your thoughts, and make sure you follow our podcast. I guess that's the new word. I don't know if you've heard that, Corey. Instead of subscribe, it's now going to be follow.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Apple is pushing that out instead of subscribe because it makes it look like you have to pay a fee. And I think what they're doing is they're probably going to start charging fees for some podcasts. So there'll be a subscription-based podcast and a follow free, and we are a free and follow. So hit that follow or subscribe button, and we'd love to hear a review from you as well. And we appreciate your time, and we'll catch you coming up on a future episode of Tehachapod.
Tehachapod is a conversation about Tehachapi designed for the people who live here or who would like to know more about this mountaintop community. If you have a question you would like answered, email media@tehachapicityhall.com. We will try to answer it on a future episode of Tehachapod.